Hey y'all, and welcome to another edition of Confederate Shop's Hidden Gem of the Week. So this week I'm going to take a slightly different approach to presenting a book. I'm going to tell you one of the short stories that is presented in this book that I'm going to show you. And this story comes from Young Heroes of the Confederacy by Deborah West Smith. This is a phenomenal book. It has a bunch of short stories. This is something particularly that you can buy for your your kid, somebody who's been in middle to high school level. This is great reading for them. This is also good for adults too. If you guys just want a quick short story, something entertaining to read about, there are a ton of fascinating stories within this book. But what I really wanted to focus on within this book is a particular story that is one of my favorite stories of the war, because it is so moving and it shows so much courage with the spirit of the individual that this happened with. He name was Sam Davis. Now, many of you probably have heard of Sam Davis. If you haven't, let me fill you in. So Sam was a young Tennessee volunteer at the age of 19 when the war broke out. He joined the 1st Tennessee Volunteer Infantry and served with Robert E. Lee in his first campaign, and also served with Stonewall Jackson during that harsh winter that Jackson had early on in the war. Many Confederates died actually from the cold through that. But Sam saw a significant amount of action before finally going to what his true calling was, which was becoming a Confederate scout. Now, being a scout in those days was a very adventurous and exciting job. You had to have a lot of nerve and you had to have a lot of cool, because you were constantly behind enemy lines and you were constantly faced with the fact that you could get caught at any moment and that you could be found out and maybe tried as a spy or have other things happen to you much worse. So Sam was with a pretty small band of what was called Coleman Scouts, about 30 guys, and he was just on a regular mission of scouting and gathering information when he was caught by federal forces. Now, these federal forces were somewhat lenient with him. They took him to jail. They interviewed him and they tried to get information out of him. But the thing is, Sam would not break any information. They couldn't break any info out of Sam. They said, well, Sam, if you tell us who sent you, if you tell us who you got this information from, if you tell us all about your friends and your companions, we'll give you a horse and we'll send you on home. Sam said, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't betray my friends. This story made such an impression on the men who were there at the time. They wrote it historically, and I just want to read a little excerpt from a federal soldier named John Doak, who wrote this in his diary in 1863 on November 27th. He said, the general offered to pardon him, Sam Davis, if he would tell who gave him the information, but this he refused to do. Just before going onto the scaffold, the chaplain asked him if he had not better tell. This seemed to insult him. Said he, do you think I would betray a friend? No, I would die 1,000 deaths first. I stood nearby him as I could get for the guard. He died like a soldier. A brave boy he was, though a spy. I almost hated to see him die. I guess he was 21 years of age, hair, eyes, and complexion dark, 5 foot 8 inches high, and weighed about 150 pounds. Sam Davis was his name. So Sam made quite the impression on the soldiers surrounding him, but he still makes an impression on those of us today who read these kind of stories. But for him to say that, to say, do you think I would betray a friend? No, I would rather die 1,000 deaths first. Now, if that's not character, I don't know what is. And that's why Sam Davis is idolized today by those of us who love Confederate history, because we admire that kind of character. We would even go as far to say that as we would like to be that kind of character. So get yourself a copy of Young Heroes of the Confederacy. Sam Davis's story is in here. It's a relatively short story. It's only about, I want to say, 4 or 5 pages. There are also pictures within the book to go along with it. Like I said, this is great for young readers. This is great for young people to get into the history. So I would recommend this book, and we have it on sale too. So as always, we probably will sell out, and I don't know how fast I can get more copies of this in, but get yourself a copy now. This is our hidden gem of the week, Young Heroes of the Confederacy. Thank you.